I know you're not going to be offended by what I'm about to say,
Oh gosh.
but I feel like that was like the whitest song you could like, and the whitest, like, and it just seems so,
My pastor's calling me. I'm out.
like here I am saying, yeah, here's my hardest song, sinking, right? I mean,
Yeah, no,
like,
wait.
this
You know-
song.
For the record.
Welcome to the Worship Leader Hangout podcast. My name's Chad. This is my co-host, Davin
Hutchinson. Yes,
that's right.
That's my name. I thought you were going to
Sorry.
let me say my own name, but it's okay.
I was going to let you say your own name, but, we were in a hurry, so.
No worries. Cool.
That's just funny. I don't know. We have no format to this podcast. But what is the hardest song you've ever had to learn? I'm talking to our audience right now, by the way.
Okay.
Davin and I were just talking about, we're like, what are the hardest songs that we've ever had to learn in the history of learning songs? Of course, we come from a background of musicianship before maybe vocals, if I may say.
Hands
both.
down.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, my wife said when I got my first job as a worship pastor, she was like, have they heard you sing? I was like, no, they didn't. She was like, oh, they're going to be surprised.
Yeah. I had to learn some pretty tough songs in my day, and I know Davin has as well, and he's on a keyboard. He's not going to lift his keyboard up, or he'll have to like redo this whole hour-long setup. So
Yeah.
but
you mean
we both,
your hour-long setup. I'm always ready to go.
what are you talking about? I'm ready all the time.
Yeah.
I'm ready to get ready. How about that?
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about some really hard songs that we've had to learn. Davin, I think we're both just kind of on cloud nine because at the recording of this video, one of your videos just went out, the 736 Gospel Progressions video, and it's doing really well. Lots of people are enjoying that. So we're both just really excited about that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can tell we're a little bit giddy this morning. But anyway, I'm going to let Davin get us started since I got us started last time with his hardest song. Now, I will say, just to preface, these songs that I'm talking about, that I'm going to talk about, maybe Davin as well, are not necessarily the hardest songs in the world, and you may find one of them extremely easy, but we have to come from the point of view of where we were as musicians at that time.
Very
and
true.
what we were, facing. So I'm going to let you get it started. Show it. Oh, and you're going to be playing too, by the way. I don't know if you guys realize that. Do that. See? Ooh, we got audio today. All right.
Yes.
Anyway, go ahead. What's your first song?
Okay, so I'm just gonna go with songs that I was working on in college because I think college and my last 2 years of high school was some of the most transformative. But I would say my time with EVS was probably EVS in a church called New Covenant Fellowship Church in Chattanooga.
Yeah.
The minister of music there, his name is Sam Patton. Very influential guy in my life, and so my time there shaped my musical journey in
No
a
doubt.
way that that just was extremely transformative. So we're gonna probably look at some songs that I either did there and then some songs with EVS because that was also
for
very
sure.
Influential. So
And just a really quick thing. Davin and I were in the same gospel choir. I was an MD. I was in for like 2.5 years or whatever it was as MD for 1.5 years, and Davin was in for probably 3 years, probably as an MD the entire time. So
yeah, MD 3 years out of the 3.5.
Okay, I got you. So we were in the same choir, just not at the same time.
Not at the same time, but that's how we met.
So that's how we met. Yep.
Sinking Ty Tribbett. So Ty Tribbett takes all of his songs are hard. I don't even know if he makes easy music, but he always does it,
and then he messes it up and makes it extremely hard.
Yeah, and I was the big. I mean, everybody in our music department, we were the biggest fans of Ty Tribbett and GA, and it was what's interesting is by saying that is like our school, our music department was full of like white kids and black kids. And when you think of Ty, you don't think of like a lot of white churches listening to his music. But at Lee University, that was not the case. Campus choir was singing his music, maybe even Lee singers. Like everybody loved his music. So one of the songs we played in EVS was Sinking.
Yeah.
Oh, I jacked that up.
I remember that one. Yeah.
And then it had just so many little intricacies in it. Like everything was a detailed, you know?
Mm-hmm.
When I think of his goodness, of Jesus. I'm not even messing up the words. Or something like that. I can't. Oh my gosh, it's been like 10 years, people.
Yeah, I didn't have to learn that one.
So that was a very influential song on me, and because it just had so much detail, like. You know, you hear that, you hear, you get to the end of the song where it's like, what is it? Oh my gosh.
See, that just shows how hard it is.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I can't even remember. It was like, what did we see? Anyway, one of the most influential songs on my life because it has so much gospel movement in it. It was very creative. You are on your toes the entire time as a musician because you have to think through everything. The challenge with learning a song like Sinking is that you're not going to sing this in your regular worship service, right? And this might be like a choir anthem or something. If your choir is ready to take this on, but you're not going to sing it outside of that. So that was one of my songs. So what's one of yours, man?
All right. So sorry, I was pulling something up real quick just so I made sure I had the right name. So I'm going to start at the beginning. So you said you started at college. Well, mine is not anywhere near as hard, but I'm going to pick up the guitar. So I started learning how to play the guitar in 9th grade. And I started learning how to lead worship and sing and play the guitar. One of the songs that, and I probably am not even playing it in the right key, but it doesn't even matter. Can you hear that okay? So we did the song, I don't know if you remember the song, I don't even know who wrote it, but it's called Trading My Sorrows. You remember that song?
Yeah.
So I remember, I was, all right, keep in mind.
Burned into our ears, man.
Yes, well, yeah. So you got to keep in mind this, but see, this was like back when it was just acoustic guitar, drums, bass, like I'll just play it.
You know what's funny about it?
My sorrows, I'm trading my shame. Remember that? I'm laying them down for the joy of the Lord. We say yes, Lord, yes. All right, so back then, I was learning how to play the guitar. So I was just like, and I would go, I cannot connect the words to the music. Like, I couldn't physically go, I'm trading my sorrow. I'm laying down for the joy of the Lord. Whatever it is. And we say, yes, Lord, yes, Lord. And I could not do all of that at the same time. And for me, in 9th grade, keep in mind, I'd never played the guitar before. I'd barely sang anything. In fact, I was one of those kids that would like just mouth the words in church. I never really sang. Mm-hmm. And so connecting my vocal with what my hands were doing on the guitar was the hardest thing I'd ever done in my entire life.
Oh, so that was like the combining both.
The combining of my vocals and playing the guitar at the same time was so difficult for me in that song, because there were other songs that I was doing, and I guess it was just the rhythm wasn't slightly syncopated like that. You know what I mean? It wasn't like that. That was like that was tough for me at that time. You know, you gotta keep in mind when you're learning, something like that could really throw you off. So
I know you're not going to be offended by what I'm about to say.
Oh gosh.
But I feel like that was like the whitest song you could like, and the whitest, like, and it just seems so.
My pastor's calling me. I'm out.
like here I am saying, yeah, here's my hardest song, thinking, right? I mean, this song, I mean, is like gospel music, I would say, you know, at its best. And then you bring like, you know, CCM music at its best. I
don't know if it's at its best, but
yeah. Well,
but that was genuine. You know, I can't fake the fact that was tough for me, and I remember that. And of course, I look back at it now, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I had trouble with that.
Yeah.
But see, you know, that I think you kind of have to look at the people that are just now learning, you know, in your church, and like, why are they struggling? But see, that's the hardest thing that they've ever had to do.
It's true.
You know, like, you know,
Very
when your
true.
baby's crying because they're hungry and need a change, that's the toughest time in their life at that moment that they know. And so I kind of relate it to that. It's like, that's the hardest thing the baby's ever had to go through, being hungry. So me as a musician, brand new guitarist, that was the hardest song I'd had done at that time. Of course, I started learning and got into a lot harder things and whatnot. And you'll see in the next song that I choose, that I chose for this.
You know,
but
it's interesting that you say that, because while you're saying that, I'm thinking of what made syncing so hard for me, because now I could probably learn it a lot quicker, but I probably worked on syncing for like 3 weeks. I remember actually like going to YouTube tutorials to try to find anyone that was talking about the song in any way. And at the time, I even remember there were so many tutorials that I knew were wrong, but I couldn't tell what the chords were. Like I even think the guy's name was 3D Mac or something like that. I think Mac was in his name.
Okay.
That had like the correct chords, and I remember. Anyway, it was just such a difficult song, but I just remember thinking about the details. Details of a song were my issue in college, like just refining those things. And as I like look at my next song, "Oh Give Thanks," like it was, I remember listening to this song, and a lot of guys know the chords. The chords are not difficult. 4, 3, 2, 1 for the most part, right? But when you're thinking about all of those little details, like those little things, and then getting those chords right there, right? Just getting that nice little movement like that, like those details, that was a struggle. And I remember sitting down with this song, just trying to get all of that right. And I would sit down with it for hours, just trying to work on each detail. So that's my second song, "Oh Give Thanks." That was one that, for many people, that wouldn't be hard. And I would say, if you work on the details that Mike Barrio just laid on that one with, I think that you would find that song is way more difficult than you think.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I didn't have to learn that one either. We had a whole different rep. So, hey, I'm off the hook for that.
Well, this one was from New Covenant. This one wasn't an EVS.
Okay, that wasn't
one.
EVS.
Yeah.
I got you. So my second song, so this was when I had entered college. I tried out for this, little gospel choir called EVS. Had no idea. I was like, I am just like you heard a second ago, Davin accusing me of being too white. I was like, they're not going to let me in. But, I was learning, like Victor Wooten stuff at the time. Like, oh, I can't even play it right now. But I played that for it was a Pretty Little Lady by Victor Wooten. So I played something like that for my audition, as well as, I played with Rory a little bit. Just
Gotcha. Okay.
He said, "Hey, can you play this?" And he would play, and then so anyway, they're like, "Okay, all right, well, thanks for coming in." I mean, at the next day, they gave me a call and said, "Hey, we want you to play bass," and I'm like, "Are you sure?" They're like, "Well, yeah, you're the only one that can thump, and we need somebody that can do that stuff." I was like, "Oh, okay, dang," and so. Anyway, I got in, and it was I will say, if you're just doing like CCM church stuff as a beginner, and that's all your church is going to do, but you want to get better as a musician, go learn some hard songs.
Yes.
Just sit in front of a computer and try to play the hardest things that you can play. You'll just be so much better, and you'll know how to add to what you play for the CCM stuff and make it more fun and better. But so anyway, all right. So
that is Chad. That is a very good point. That is a very good point.
I'm going to keep my bass on. Well, no, I won't put it on. So now we are in the first rehearsal for Evangelistic Singers, and John York is my mentor. Mentor. And he played guitar. He was. Did you ever hear John play? Like John and Bobby and Rory and all them?
I played with John like once or twice.
Okay. Yeah, he incredible guitarist. Just had a feel and a tone like no other. And he could thump on the guitar. Like he was super good. And so he was like, "All right, we got to learn this song. Sister Sadie wants this song again for this year. You're the new bass player. You need to learn this." And I'm thinking, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go. So then he was like, "Oh yeah. All right, here, let me play the first part for you." He plays the track. And he's like, I'm playing it fast.
Yeah.
It was more like, like kind of that speed, more chill.
Yeah.
My God is more than enough. He can supply all my needs. He is my El Shaddai. He always looks after me. Jehovah Jireh. He is my God.
That's cool, man.
And then, so why should I worry about the high? And I heard that and I was like, "Ooh, that's good. Let's learn it." And we went, if we were doing video, we went frame by frame. We went note by note. And this is how we learned the song. He's like, "This is how we learned it right here. Okay, try that." It sounded like you did. No, I'm like, I don't know. So I had to go like little bitty phrase by phrase and learn this song. And at that time, without a doubt, that is the hardest song I've ever had to learn. Maybe excluding some Victor Wooten songs that I was trying to learn at the same time too. But see, that stuff, there was no pressure for the Victor Wooten stuff because I wasn't expected by a band and a choir and a director to be able to play that the next rehearsal.
Yeah. You say a good point, man. You say pressure. And I made a video about that like probably a year ago or so. Well, no, yeah, last year around this same time, where I say, if you really want to get better as a musician, your problem is that you don't have enough pressure.
Yeah.
Like you don't have enough. You're not responsible to the right people. Right. Imagine coming to a rehearsal and I don't know the music and Marcus is the MD. Marcus is gonna talk to me like a dog. Like,
he ain't gonna put up with it.
Yeah, he ain't gonna put up with it, right? Like, so, or Sam. Oh my gosh, I've seen Sam. Sam had no problems firing musicians on Sunday morning before service if they didn't know the
And
music.
Sam was at New Covenant?
Sam was at New Covenant. I've
Okay,
seen
yeah.
him do it. And he had me do it when I brought somebody one time that he was a drummer and he was my friend and he say, "You fire him. You brought him this morning." I was like, oh my gosh. But he had done the same thing. I remember he brought a bass player one time and the bass player didn't know the music and he was like, "Crap, Davin, he ain't working out. I need you to play key bass," and he got to go.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it's just you need that pressure in your life that helps, man.
You
That
do.
just helps you get better. So
In our culture of EVS, I mean, you got to think, if you know some of these people, if you're watching, I don't know, if you know some of these people, that's insane. But so think about me, Jeremy, Marcus. I think Travis was in at this time. Anyway, so me, Jeremy, Marcus, another guy on keys named Matt. There's some other people, whatever, but. Jeremy played this. I thought it was pretty good. He's like, it's just this huge like thing, in the middle of a song. And Marcus just stops playing. He just like slams his hands on the keys. He looks at Jeremy. He just starts shaking his head. I'm like, what? Why are we stopping? Because I was the MD at the time. And he was like, man, let me show you how that sounded. And Marcus went over to the drums, picked up sticks, and just threw them at the drums and said,
Really?
It sounded like that. And Jeremy's like, man, come on. It did not
funny,
sound like
man.
that. And so it was like just that pressure. Of course, we gave Marcus a hard time. Anytime he would mess up, just because he gave us such a hard time.
yeah, I got to give him credit in that he really did want the band to sound its best.
Yeah.
And he did what he had to do. He said what he had to say, whether
Yeah.
you liked it or not. But I never felt embarrassed playing with Mark, like in public.
No.
I never remember thinking, "Oh man, we didn't slay today." No, I remember thinking every session was a slay session, and so
Yeah. And the energy that he brought to it, whether you played it
Yes.
perfectly right, it didn't matter.
yes,
It's just the energy.
the energy.
yeah,
And,
it was,
I
he was
give
fun.
Sam the credit in that, man. When I played at New Covenant, that was New Covenant was probably the best band I ever played with. Like,
Are they still New Covenant, or did they change their
no,
name?
they're still New Covenant Fellowship Church. I mean, it was like cutting a CD every Sunday morning, man. And
Wow.
not a CD like, everybody plays the backing tracks nowadays and all that, but
Yeah.
then it was, you could do it raw or you could do it with backing tracks. And I mean, it was just the musicianship level was so good. And it didn't sound static. Like, I feel like now we play with tracks and we sound static. And I'm on a tangent, but I don't know. You got me reminiscing about some good musical days, man. I miss them.
Yeah, I know.
I miss
Me
them.
too. I want to hear your third and final hardest song
Okay.
you've ever had to learn.
Yeah, third and final. And, me and Chad, we say these were the 3 hardest songs. Were these your literal 3 hardest songs? Because my hardest songs, to be honest,
No.
Chad, I can't even play them anymore.
No,
Like,
okay. No, these are not my literal 3 hardest songs. These are the 3 hardest that I remember them being the hardest songs at those times.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, like, obviously, Trading My Sorrows is not as hard as,
Gotcha.
More Than Enough. But that was More Than Enough, by the way. Gary Oliver, I believe, did that one. I just wanted to say that just in case
okay.
somebody's looking that up.
Yeah.
My God, it's
oh,
More
that's
Than
funny,
Enough.
man. I think my buddy, one of my buddies right now, he does sound at Gary Oliver's church. I just realized that.
Oh, really?
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Right here in Dallas. Or at least he used to. Okay, so I picked songs that were very influential and hard.
Yeah.
For me. So this last one here is the Lord's Prayer from the Potter's House Mass Choir, and it's the work of the freaking genius of Kevin Bonds. Okay, and I mean, I can't even sing and play this. That's not happening, and I don't know what Kevin Bonds was on when he sat down and wrote out the piano arrangement for it. But it is genius, and it took me weeks to learn, but I was so glad to do it. And this is one of the few songs I learned without any pressure. So
Okay.
like syncing, I had to learn because of EVS. Glad to do it. Oh, give thanks, I learned because of New Covenant. Glad to do it. Oh, the Lord, this was one of those songs that I wanted to learn in college. I just didn't have a reason to, and so I decided to. I didn't learn it till I moved out here to Dallas, and I decided to just sit down and try to learn the whole song. So let's see how much I could play. I don't know, it's been a while.
Okay.
If you just listen to the intro. I messed up. I mean, it's just all that little stuff. And we haven't even made it a minute and a half into the song. Imagine like getting to the rest, you know? And so it's just, there's this part I love about it so much. Like, and then that intro. I mean, it's like a chord on, like, oh my gosh, it's just so beautiful, so intricate. And then he does these nice runs in the end of the song that I really like. Like, I don't even know if I could remember them. It's just the way he did it, man. Oh, I'm so mad right now. I gotta work on it. Just something so simple, but it's just a nice little beautiful thing. Anyway, love that song so much, man. What's your third?
So my third is I don't remember how to play a lot of it, and I don't want to butcher. I might try a few little bars of it at the beginning, but it's a little song, little known song by John P. Key called "Rain on Us."
That's you're talking about the live version with like
the live version, of course, yeah. And so we had to learn that song. I think maybe it was my second year or second semester or something like that of EVS. And I remember that probably, I guess if I'm being honest, that probably still is the hardest song technically, I guess, that I've ever had to learn. Even though it wasn't like, it just had so many parts to it. And like I said, I don't want to keep us here all day with me trying to figure some of it out. I'm not. But even the intro was.
Yeah, and you can remember learning that for EVS, and everybody has to know that intro. You know,
together.
Yeah,
and play it together.
Yeah. So
and like I said, I don't even want to try to butcher that. Go listen to. So when you're done with listening to us ramble on this podcast, go listen to all of these songs. We'll link them below. But go listen to John P. Key's "Rain on Us." I'll link the actual version that we tried to learn, or we did learn, and we did pretty well. But me and Marcus actually put some other parts into that song that weren't necessarily a part of it. I
remember when y'all did that, and I did that lick for that was like my lick like for the next year. Like
you could thank Victor Wooten for that one.
Yeah, something CCM does, and really I hate to say this about it, but it's true. And I'm saying this because I want people to think through it and solve this problem. CCM reduces your musicianship drastically, man. It really does reduce like your ability, and you know. So,
but yeah, go listen to these songs. Like, yeah, we probably butchered all of them, but that's okay because they were, at least at those times, in our lives, or just plain simple, they are very hard songs. And it just goes to prove, like, if you don't play them on a regular basis, you will forget them. Like, I forgot.
The only song I still remember is "Oh Give Thanks," and that's because it's a church song that, like, we don't sing it like the churches I play for, but I'm still called every so often to come and play that song somewhere, right? Like, for a group or whatever. So I still get to keep that. But yeah, you're right,
man. I tell you what. Last thing I'll say, when Rain on Us was still fresh, I got called for a gig, like. So it was either right at the end of college or right after college, and they're like, "Man, we want to do this song. I mean, is this even?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." And it took me maybe like 15 minutes to just kind of work it back in. But see, that was right. We're talking about, this was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
For some of this stuff for me, but that was right after that for the most part, and they were kind of blown away. I was like, "Look, I've spent countless hours and hours on that song. Like, don't think I'm some insane bass player." And but it does take talent to learn stuff like that. Not everybody can do that, but it was really cool to be able to have that in my arsenal at that time. But yeah, I've been a worship leader. I've been playing guitar or nothing, and keys.
Learning so much of difficult songs has overall made us better. So for example, let's say I have to go back and try to learn the Lord's Prayer. It took me probably a month. Oh no, I lied. It didn't take me a month. It took me a week of practicing every day for hours. I remember. If I were to go back and learn it now, I could probably get it in like a day, and it would probably take me like 3 hours. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It wouldn't take you near as long.
It's made me overall a better musician, and now my ear is better. I can listen to music. When I listen to CCM, a lot of times I don't even rehearse it anymore because it's just, okay, I can hear all the changes. Like, it just makes you so much better. So
I know. That's so true too. Like, CCM music, I mean, I do not like to be this person, but I will show up on like a Wednesday night when I'm playing keys sometimes, and I'm like, crap, I don't even know what we're doing. and then they'll just start singing or playing. I'm like, oh yeah. Oh, and I play keys on Wednesday. So, I'm just like, oh yeah, I got this. Because you hear it. You hear the changes. Oh, did you cut out again? But
my card full.
Okay, it is now? Oh, so you're not recording anymore?
No, I'm sorry, man.
Okay, well, we still have audio. Anyway, but it just goes to prove, like, you need to practice. You need to keep up with your skill every single day, or at least the days that you eat, and just play. But these are hard songs. Maybe put some of the hardest songs you've ever learned in the comments below. We want to see that. Davin, I know you can't see him, but we can still hear him. But Davin, thank you so much for being a part of this as well. I know you gotta go and gotta get some family stuff done. I gotta go and get to work, get some other stuff done too. But we really appreciate you guys watching this podcast and just sitting with us, listening to us butcher some old songs we love. So I'm gonna go listen to Rain on Us. I'm gonna learn it. I'm gonna learn it, relearn it, and play it on the channel one day, maybe. I don't know.
I need to learn that Victor Wooten lick.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm so mad because I used to play it like all the time. Like, Anyway, oh my.
All right, man. Well, I'll let you go, but we really appreciate you guys watching again, and subscribe if you haven't already. And remember, great worship leaders are always learning. Yeah, try to learn that hard stuff too. It'll make you better. All right, we love you guys. Have a good night, day, morning, afternoon, lunch. See ya.